Good morning, it's Lisa Bergin coming to you on Friday the 2nd of February 2024 for a Flosstube update. So I last videoed on the 17th of January where I gave you a quick update on what I'd managed to achieve last year, finishes, etc., and what I'd worked on up to the middle of January. So now I'm going to show you what I worked on from the middle of January, plus the stitching that I've done yesterday and today being the second. I had intended on coming back and filming yesterday, but I wasn't really feeling up to it. So I thought, you know what, I'll leave it till Friday. I know my son's going out early, so I can get the video done at a reasonable time as opposed to hanging around. So here goes. So first of all, firstly, I must say thank you to everybody that commented on my last video. Much appreciated, and I know I have got to go in and add a few more comments because I tend to only look at it for the first few days, and then when I come back and upload my next video I then respond, which is what I will do later. And also I want to say a huge thank you to Mary Rose at Stitch Bliss Corner for mentioning me in her last video, which if you're not subscribed to Mary Rose, please go over and watch her videos because she's so knowledgeable about stitching and art and history and things like that. Very interesting videos that she always produces, and she's got a huge backlog as well, which is more than I have these days. But anyway, she gave me a shout out in her video where she was showing her latest finish, which is stunning. And if you like full coverage, Mary Rose does a lot of full coverage. So anyway, so thank you to and off of that, I've had an uptick in subscribers. I went from just below 700 to I think about 710 now. So thank you very much to all and every one of you. Right, so let's get to some stats for January. So I thought I'd let you know what happened eventually at the end of January. So I stitched every single day in January, so that's really good. And I did a total of 14,168 stitches over 88.5 hours, giving stitches per hour of 160, which is slightly up on my last year's, which was between 140 to 150 average. And I stitched for an average of 2 hours and 51 minutes per day. So that's my stats. Now to the projects. So I worked, and also in January I worked on a total of 13 projects. So I will show you them. So what I've worked on since. So the next one that I worked on after my last video, here is so this is Ginger Tom Bookmark. I work on this on Sunday mornings. Over January, I added a total of 789 stitches over 3 3/4 hours, and this is where it is now. So coming along, and there is a small, this has two sides to it. The back side has like a little square design in the middle and then the border, and then you stitch them together and fray the edges. So when I've actually completed the dog, it's not complete because I've got to do the back side as well. So that's that one. Then here is my reading tracker bookmark, which you can see has now got some bits filled in. So I read 12 books in January, and I'm doing it by genre. So I read 4 crime mystery thrillers, 2 general fiction, 1 YA, 2 historical, 1 romance, 1 non-fiction, and 1 middle grade. So yeah, so that's my bookmark coming along nicely. It's going to be possible if I carry on at the rate I'm doing. I'm going to have to do a backside that's exactly the same and fill in another bookcase, but we'll see. Anyway, that's where that is at the moment. I expect my reading will slow down as the year progresses. I tend to try and get a good number of books under my belt just so that I'm on target for my reading challenge, which is always 52 books a year, which I'm definitely on target doing 12 in January. So anyway, there we go. And of that, 8 were actually I read with my eyes and 4 were audios. And I'll just quickly say now as I'm talking about this, I don't really talk about books much anymore, but my favourite read from January was actually a listen, and it's called Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau, and it's about a girl in the 1970s, a teenager in the 1970s who's lives in quite a conservative home, and she goes to work for a psychiatrist and his wife as a babysitter for their young daughter. Into this comes a rock star and his wife who's trying to get clean, and it's basically about her summer with them, about growing up and teenage sort of misunderstandings and things like that. I really, really enjoyed it. So if that sounds up your... I listened to it because my library didn't have it in physical form. But yeah, well worth a read or a listen. So as I was doing this, I thought I'd talk about that at the same time. So that's my book tracker bookmark. Right, then my second book tracker bookmark, I added 203 stitches over an hour and a half. So now I'm going to my second Whip Go project. So in my previous video I showed you, I think I might have showed this as well, but I definitely showed you snooty parrots. And then this is Peacock Topaz, which I did take a screenshot earlier so that we can look at this. Photos, where are you? I think I did anyway. Now I'm going to call myself a liar, aren't I? Hang on. Excuse me while I hunt my phone. Oh no, I did do. There it is one. There is one. Right. So this is Peacock Topaz when it is complete. And here is mine. And I just carried on. Sorry about the light, it's really dull. I have put my light on and I've got it sort of shining at the wall to give me a bit of a glow without putting it over my head. And I don't want to look like a halo, so I do. There we go, that's better. Apologise about the colours not being brilliant again, but this room, unless it's sunny, is quite dark. Yeah, so anyway, so this is, and it's a dull day here today. This is where I got to. So Peacock Topaz, I put in 1,074 stitches over 5.5 hours. So that's that one. I then did do a bit more on Holiday Village. I remember saying in my last video that I initially started off the month doing it as 55 stitches a day, and then I decided 55 stitches a day wasn't working because the project just takes up too much time. So anyway, Holiday Village, this is what it will look like when it is complete. And this is, excuse the creases and all that, but this is where I am, and I've been working in this bit down here where the this is a reindeer and sleigh there, which is where I'm working mainly at the moment. But yeah, so that's that. Coming along very slowly. It's not going to get finished this year, but I'm hoping to be a focus next year to get it done. And that Holiday Village, I ended up putting 1,015 stitches in over 7.5 hours. Then we have Saga, and Saga I'm trying to get half a page done a month so that I can complete it in 2027. So I got a page done before Christmas, which left the 25 pages, so that left 24 pages. That makes 48. That equals 12 into 48 goes 4. We're in 20, so 24, 25, 26, 27, 4 years. So December 27, this should be completed. So this is Saga. It's a huge project. It's 389 by 504, so it's a big one. Stitched again on, like my Death by Cross stitch on white 40 count Verdal. And if I can hold this while it's folded up, here is where we are. I'm using DMC, what is the colour number? 9, is it 915? Anyway, you'll know it. It's the multi-red one with dark and light bits of red. And so that's where I am. I just about hit my half page, and Saga, I put in 1,515 stitches over 9 hours. And I work on that on Saturdays and Sundays. Then we have, what do we have here? Ah, right, I need another picture. Then we have Bedtime Story, which I didn't show in my previous video because I hadn't started working on it by then. And Bedtime Story will look like this when it is done. It's from Pain Free Crafts. I'm stitching it on 18 count white Ada with DMC floss. And last year I completed the top row, and I've just started on the second row, and you can see I've got, and working in the diagonals really works for me. I wish I'd done that on early Snowfall, because it really does work. It works nicely. You don't make so many mistakes, because to Mary Rose's horror, I don't grid. I know she thinks gridding is, and it probably is, and I have used gridded fabric before, but I don't grid. It's too much time. I'd rather be stitching. So anyway, here we go. And unfortunately, I think this row is going to be quite boring, because there's no real objects in it. So it's like there's no picture or anything like that. We might get the bottom of the train possibly when we get over here, but it's going to be a lot of browns and beiges, unfortunately, this row. But got to get through it to get to the interesting bits. So yeah, that's where we are. It's not, there you go, that's probably better. Put it on the angle, there you go, you can see it better. Yeah, so that's that one. I do apologise for lighting, it's just such a dull day today. And I haven't got anywhere else really to film at the moment. So, right. Then I decided that because I'm doing whip go and I've got my focus pieces, I wanted, like last year, to work on every single project that I have. Oh, did I tell you what I did for Bedtime Story? Sorry, Bedtime Story, I did 1,850 stitches over 12¼ hours. Right, sorry, now, yeah. So, breathe, Lisa. Right. I, like last year, I wanted to make sure that every single whip I have has at least 100 stitches in it. So, I've got a list. So I ticked off all the ones I know that I will be working on this year. And I ticked off all the whip go projects, which I should be working on this year, because so far so good. And then I have about 21 projects left. So I'm picking 4 or 5 a month to work on. In January I did 3 because I only decided to do it then. But coming forward, it's 4 or 5 projects to get through them. And then as I finish the whip go, I'll add them in onto the, I'm doing a decision wheel, so I'm picking each month which one. So as the months go on, I add in the whip go projects that have been done, so they're back on the whip wheel, and to see how we go. But before, I would have worked on all of the ones that hadn't been worked on prior to putting the whip go projects back in. That was convoluted, wasn't it? Anyway, so I'm hopeless at this, really. Here we go. So this is Celtic Birds Bookmark by Textile Heritage, and I put in 109 stitches in half an hour, and this is where it is now. So I'm working from the bottom up. I think that's better. There you go. It's on a piece of Ada ribbon, and yeah, so that is Celtic Birds. Right. So let me just have a quick sip of my tea, and then I will come back to the next one. That is a non-whip go, non-focus piece. Right, just slow it down, Lisa. Right. Right, so next one that I worked on that isn't a whip go or a focus piece is Summer's End, which is a Dimensions Gold kit. And as you can see, it's one of my favourite animals. It's a setter deer. And this is like the alternate. I think the one's called, I think it might be called A Winter's Glow. The other one, there's like a winter scene with a very similar image, but obviously not colourful. It's all browns and whites and creams and greys and stuff, which is also very nice. I don't have that one, but I do have this one. Yeah, so this is Summer's End, and so is there any on the other side? Yeah, no, it's pretty much here. I worked over here and I added 107 stitches. 107 stitches, so I'm working on the last deer there. And that is 107 stitches over half an hour. And then the final one that I worked on that is not a whip go or focus piece. And I think this might be my oldest project, so I think next year this is going to have to come out and be made a focus. And is a Row of Love, another Dimensions Gold, and this one I added 130 in half an hour, and it's literally I added it. Okay, yeah. So literally I added loads of these are 1 strand cross stitches in a pale grey. So and if you want to see the whole piece, I mean, that's where I am. I've got one of the teddies pretty much done, but there are 4, I think, aren't there? Is it 4? Yeah, 4. So a bit of a way to go, but yeah. So there you go. And it was a bit on this bit over here that I did. 130 stitches there. So that's that. And then I also worked on my first February non-whip go non-focus piece, and that is a Gold Collection Petite Seashell Treasures. And Seashell Treasures, I added 110 stitches over 3/4 of an hour. That was because I made a few mistakes, which is why it took me longer than the other ones. Here it is. Let's see if I can get an angle. Right, here it is. So I worked in this bit here and this bit here. So if I just now angle it so you can actually see it. So either end of the design I worked my stitches, and 110 in total. This project looks really easy, but I've had such a pig of a time with it. I go wrong nearly every time I stitch on it. I nearly always go wrong. I love how it looks, I love the finished piece, but I found it so difficult, and I don't really know why. And anyone that tells you the petites are easy, they're not. They're so detailed for what they are, and it's, yeah. Anyway, I literally have a pig of a time when I'm doing it. Right. Have a sip of my tea. Oh, and you know, I told you that 110. Right. So let me just have a quick sip of my tea. Right, so my main focus piece for this year is Anong Up Down, because I mentioned in my last video I started it on my 50th birthday. I'm now 55, and I would like to get it finished before I turn 56. And this one I've put on, I have stitched, so in January I did 2,514 stitches over 16 3/4 hours, and then last night I added another 235 over an hour and a half, but it's slow going, and I'm not taking it off the frame because I'm still working on it. And so this is what it looks like. I am working this bit here at the moment, this page here. And so here is where we are at the moment. So yeah, last night I completed, no, I didn't complete that bit. That bit I completed in January. This is the bit I worked on last night, the next bit going up. So I've got this to do, I've got this bit to do, and then I've got some bits down here that need to do on this page. So this page is really, where did I just put the, so let me see where it goes to. Right. And I'll show you on the picture. This one goes, right, yeah. So this one goes, now which side am I? It's this side, I'm doing this side over here. Right, so it goes, this page I'm working on, so I've got that bit done, I'm doing this, I've done that, and it goes to about there and across to where the red bits are. And does it have any other, no, it doesn't have any writing. So it's just there. Oh, and a little bit it catches the end of the writing there. But yeah, so yeah, it's this. I was hoping to get a page done a month. I didn't complete the page, so never mind. We'll get there. So that's my main focus piece. Well, the thing is that I was meant to do 12 days in January. I only managed 10 in the end. For various reasons, I wasn't feeling like doing it. I mean, because it's an evening project, and so some evenings, and it's 40 count, and sometimes my eyes aren't up for 40 count in the evening. But yeah, so but it's getting there. It will get. I mean, I've only got, I think I only have about 3 possibly full pages to do, and I have several partial pages to do. Or is it 4? Might be 4. Anyway, it will get done. It's just a case of having the eyes to want to do it. But it will be done. It will be done. And I have done it. I showed you on my previous one. I did start on the, because I was a bit scared of the satin stitch bit, and I have started on it, and it's not as actually as scary as it first seemed. And then I think I'm down to my final project. Yeah. So that was Anton. I did tell you what I'd done on it. Just double check. Yeah, so my last project that I've worked on is Early Snowfall. You should all know Early Snowfall by now. It is... let me just get it up because it's further back. There we are, there's Early Snowfall. There we go, Early Snowfall, the lovely wolves. So in January, where are we, Early Snowfall, I added 3,555 stitches over 22 3/4 hours, and since yesterday I've added 490 over 2 3/4 hours. So well on my way for my target for this month. So have we got it the right way around? Yeah. Here we go, I'll get as much as I can. So we'll show you this side first, and I will come back to that in a minute. And then this is over here. So in January, I think, I can't remember where I worked, to be honest with you, but I have the stitches. But in the last few days, I've come down to the bottom again, and so let me fold it up. I decided I was going to work on the bottom section again to just try and tidy that up, get this sort of page finished. Right, here we go. So I've been working you will get there. Right. Yeah. So I've been working on, here we go, on this page here. You can probably see that it looks like a line, and I've been coming down to the bottom. I'm trying to get this current page worked, and then I'm going to come up and join and come up and up until I get back up onto the, where are we, this way, until I get back up to the wolf's ears. When we get onto the wolf bit, the wolf colours are quite confetti heavy. There's lots of colour changing, which is why I went down the page instead of going across the page. But I'm just going to alternate it. I think I'm going to go so bottom back up to where the wolves are, and then come over where this orange section is and come down that side as well, just to break it up a little bit. Because otherwise, if I get onto the wall, I think I'll lose interest if I'm in the wolves too long. Because I don't mind some confetti, but when it's heavy confetti, I lose pace. I have a set amount of time. I try to get 200 stitches in an hour and a half, hour to hour and a half. And if I'm only getting 100 stitches in that time, I get frustrated, and I don't want to increase the time I'm spending on it. So it's one of those things. But you know, I'm on schedule for my finish in 2026. I have to hit 3,500 stitches a month. It will then be done then. I say last month I put in 3,555, wasn't it? Yeah. I just hit the target, but that was because I wanted to get onto Bedtime Story. I could have put more on it, but I didn't, because I had some mornings where I wasn't working on either Bedtime Story or Early Snowfall. And also, Early Snowfall would have had more on it if I hadn't been doing Holiday Village, the half an hour, because that ate into my time that I had available. So yeah, I'm very happy with what I mean. It's not quite as much as my highest month last year, but it's certainly a lot better than my lowest. I think my lowest month was December at 5,000 stitches. 5,000-ish stitches. I had a couple of 14. I had one close to 15, but I haven't broken the 15,000. But then I'm not doing, if I'm averaging 2 hours and 51, whereas if we look back to when I was doing my Prairie School alphabet, if any of you remember from way back, when I was doing that, I was probably doing 5-6 hours of stitching a day. So it just, I don't feel, well, one, I'm not here on my own anymore. So during that time, because my son was away at university and my husband was working away a lot, so I had a lot more free. The only person that was me and the dog, and other than walking her, I didn't have anything going on. So really, yeah. So I have more free time, and just to break up the time I would stitch, particularly evenings where I was on my own in the evening. It was nice just to sit and stitch and chill, and I would go to bed a bit later than I would perhaps normally, because I didn't want to lock up the house, and I had to put the dog out and things like that, which usually my husband does when he's home. Well, not anymore because we don't have the dog anymore, but when we did have the dog, so I just have more time to do it. But we will see. I am aiming to stitch every day this month as well, so hopefully that will work. Fingers crossed. That is something I do want to achieve this year, because last year I had 60 plus days where I didn't stitch at all. I certainly don't want it to be that high. I don't mind the odd day not stitching, particularly in the summer. I find in the summer I have a few days where I don't stitch because if it's really hot I don't like to stitch. But I don't want it being 60. I mean, two months of the year not stitching is, and I've got all these I've got 55 projects. I want to get some of them completed, and if I don't focus, I can't get it done. But I find, as I said, if I set myself a target, I seem to achieve it. So, it's setting small targets for myself seems to be working. Anyway, that's it for now. And I've rambled again, I know, I do apologise. Hopefully not quite so many ums this time. And hopefully I'll see you at maybe in the middle of February, definitely at the end of February. We'll see how things go. But anyway, until such time, to everyone that's watching, thank you for watching. Happy stitching and take care.